Hi everyone, in this particular tutorial we are going to understand about the AWS code commit, which is one of the very primary service we have to look into the code pipeline section. So code pipeline is something that we have to continue ahead, and the very first service here we have the AWS code commit. Basically this particular service is kind of an option for the GitHub. Okay, so you can keep your source code in this particular service, and then you can utilize that source code for further into the code pipeline. So let's understand first of all how you can keep this particular service, and then what exactly this service is. Okay, let's just talk about it. So here in the upcoming sessions we will be talking about the code pipeline, which is going to be the complete picture for the CI/CD. Okay, so CI/CD is nothing but it's a continuous integration and continuous deployment in which we are trying to take the source code from the GitHub or any of the source code management tool. Then further we gonna build that particular code, and then once the building is done, then further we can deploy it. Okay, so the process might seems like, let's say you have a developer, and a developer is writing the code on his PC. Okay, once he's done writing the code on his PC, he is going to push the code to some repository management tool, and now in this case it is going to be the code commit tool. Okay, it is going to be the code commit tool. Once the code is pushed to the code commit, okay, like once the code is available here, then further that code can be taken to the one more service that we have from the from the AWS, and it is going to be the code build service. Okay, so code build is the service with which we can take the code and we can build, we can do all the compilation, we can get the artifact, which is the executable form of your code. And once we got that executable form of the code, further we can take that one with one more service called as the code deploy. We can take that one with the code deploy service, and wherever we wish to deploy the application. Okay, maybe it's a ECS service that we have from AWS, or let's say we have a EC2 server from AWS, so you can just deploy that one with the help of code deploy. And code pipeline is kind of a service. The code pipeline is kind of a service which is going to stitch all of these services together. Okay, so basically, like once the code is available in the code commit, it is going to trigger the code build to take that code from the code commit. And lastly, once that artifact we have generated, okay, so that artifact we would like to deploy it on the EC2 machine. So code pipeline is going to provide us a platform to integrate all the services at once. Okay, so this CI/CD process here we are going to discuss this further. So this is the session 1 in which we are going to talk about the code commit. Then in the next session we will talk about code build, and then in the third one we'll talk about code deploy, and we will stitch all these three together. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it now. So here we will understand how exactly developer can push your code to the code commit, how to do the setup. Okay, like how one can do the setup of the code commit. So we will understand that. Now before going further, let's talk about the basic stuff here. The very basic thing here, we need to understand that code commit is kind of a repository management tool. So here one has to push the code, pull the code. Okay, so we need to set up some credentials and everything that we have to do. Okay, so if you are aware about the GitHub, then in that case it's going to be very easy for you to understand how exactly the process is going to be. So that's what the code commit tool is. Now we will understand step by step how to do the setup. So let's go ahead on the AWS console, and we'll understand how exactly we can set up the things. So here I have just like search for this code commit page, and then I've got this page. Now here I am having the one option, that is a create repository. So I will click on this create repository option, and so let's just give some name to this repository. So probably I'll give the name, let's say demo demo code commit. This is what the name I'm giving. Now once I have provided this name, okay, now further I can provide some description. Let's say this is the this is for demo purpose. Okay, now this description is up to you what you would like to give, and same thing goes for repository name as well. Whatever the repository name you would like to keep it, you can keep it. Now the next thing is I'll say create here, and here I'm done with the creation of the repository. So that's how easy it was to create the repository. Now the next thing here, if you see that I have to do the connection, okay, and then here I have already got some steps to do it, and I'm gonna take the help of these steps. But if you see the SSH is what is grayed out, okay, so I cannot do the SSH authentication for this one, and what's the reason? Okay, what is the reason why I can't do that? Because at this point, if you see, I'm logged in with this my credentials, and these are the root credential that I'm having. Okay, so whichever the credential with which I have logged in here, so that's a root credential, because of which I cannot do the SSH authentication. Now SSH authentication is something we do usually when we are working in the organizations. So we will understand that how exactly we can set up the SSH authentication for you from your PC. Okay, now, and in fact you can read the warning here that you are signing as a root user, and that's the reason you cannot configure SSH connection for root account. So very basic thing here, that in fact when you're working for any organization, so you won't be getting the root credentials, or you won't be logged in with the root credential. You required something credentials for you. Okay, something like I am user, or some different level of credentials will be provided to you, with which you will be logging, but you will not be logging with the root credential. So let's create one I am user very quickly, and with that I am user we will access this particular repository, or in fact we should be accessing this whole account. Okay, so let's go and do that. Now here I'll go and search for the IAM service, and here we are going to create one user. Okay, so let's go and click on the user section. Here I can click on create user. Let's give some name, so I'm just providing the name as Amol. Now do I need to have AWS console? Okay, probably yes, I need to have an AWS console. Okay, I want to create an IAM user, so I'm just clicking on this option, and it's asking me to provide some password. Okay, so I'll set some password. Let me put the password here. So I have provided a password, and the next thing is I will say next. Okay, here I'll click on the next thing. Here it's asking me that set the permissions. Okay, so here I'm creating one user, that is Amol user, and for that user which all permissions I would like to keep. Okay, now depending on which all policies you would like to select, you can select them. Okay, so here for my user I'm going to select the admin access, so that I shouldn't getting stuck with any of the permissions. So just try to understand that right now we don't have any user, okay, with IAM user. So I'm creating one, and with that user, okay, just assume that this is the user we everyday log in. Okay, and that's how we are going to set up the Codecommit repository. So I'm providing the admin access here, and then I'll say the next at last. So here I have provided a username as Amol, and then the password here I have set up something. Next thing, I have provided the admin access to my user, and at last I'll say create user, and here we are done with the user creation successfully. Now the next thing is that here I got some sign in URL. Okay, like I can just provide to that Amol user, like whoever I'm creating the user for, I can just give this URL. I can give the username, and I have also set up some password, so I can just share with him, and whenever that person will try to log in, so he will change the password by himself. Okay, so now I have to log in with that particular user, that is Amol user. So let me create the new window. I'm going to open the incognito mode, and I'll just like search for the AWS console here again for login with the Amol user. Okay, now here I'll say log back in, or probably in fact I can just use this particular URL to just put it here like this way. And the benefit here I'll get is like I don't have to go and click on the I am user sign in page. Okay, account ID by default comes here, so that's a benefit here I'm getting. Now username I'll put it, that is the Amol, and then next thing I'll put the password. While creation of this user, I've created one password, so I'll put that one. I'll say sign in, and now here you can see that it is asking me to change the password, old password. So let me put the old password, and the new password here I'll put it. Put the new password, and here we go. Okay, so right now here in the right top you can see that I'm logged in with a different user, that's Amol, and this is the I am user, a special user created. Okay, now generally this is what happens, okay, everywhere, that you will receive some credentials by some AWS admin or someone who is an administration. Okay, from the administration you will receive some credentials, and with those you will be logging each day. You will never gonna logged in with the root user in real-time scenarios, so that's the reason here we have created the Amol user, and with those credentials we have logged in right now. Okay, now next thing we are looking for to have a code commit setup. Okay, so let's go and search that particular service again, and this is the service we have, that's a code commit. And here, like right now I have one repository, I'll simply delete that one. Okay, so let me delete this one, so I'll say delete, and we will create a new one. Okay, so let me just say create repository here. Oops, I have just deleted the one which we have created, sorry for that. Okay, let me create a new one here. I just forgot that, so this is the one we have created and then set up by ourselves in the with the root here, credential. Let it be. Okay, so I'll just create a new one here. So here I'll say demo code commit repo, this is the name I'm giving, and description I can provide whatever you wish to do. Okay, so I just say create, and now we are done with the again the same repository name with which we have created one repository. And here I have options, so for this time, okay, I don't have this sh option grayed out. I can just click on that for doing the setup. Okay, so right now I'm teaching from the PC, that is Windows PC, so I can just click on this Windows, and then here I'm having the steps with which I can set up the this code commit repository setup. Okay, so let's go and understand how exactly you can do it. Now the very basic thing you will require here is that Git client has to be there within your Windows PC. Okay, so you should have the Git bash installed. Okay, if you don't have, you can just Google how to install, and you should get that one. So I already have it, so I can just show you that one. Okay, so here I'm having the Git bash. So with this particular tool, I'm going to access my code commit repository. Okay, so whichever the git pull push operation you guys do generally on for git and github, okay, the same commands here it's going to work. There is no changes in the command. Okay, the exactly same command here we have to follow. And so git client is something the prerequisite we have. Okay, once we have that one, so here the next thing we have to generate the sh public and a private key pair. Okay, now how we can generate those? So we can generate the sh private and the public keys with the sh hyphen key generator. Okay, so there is a keygen is the command we have. So sh hyphen keygen, with this particular command we can generate the key pair. So the process is going to be like this way, that here I'm going to say sh hyphen keygen, and after putting this command on your git bash, okay, you should receive the two keys. One is going to be the public key, other is going to be the private key. Okay, one is going to be the public key, other is going to be the private key. Now what like how exactly you will be doing this configuration part? So public key always stay with the remote location. Okay, the public key is always going to stay with the remote location where with which you have to do the authentication, and private key is going to be with your local system. So here in this case we are going to provide your public key with the AWS service. That is the when you will be creating when that we have to create a we have to access the code commit with the user credential. So for that we are going to provide this public key, and private key is going to be there with your machine. Okay, that is your PC or laptop. Okay, so and then it's like a key and lock. Okay, sh keygen is nothing but it's like a key and lock. So this is a pair. Okay, this is a key pair that what you have. So you need a perfect private key to open your lock. Okay, so here the key is this, the private key, and lock is nothing but it's a public key. Okay, so when you bring a perfect key, then and then only your lock will get open. So this is something like the way that sh keys works. Now let's go ahead and like generate this key pair within your machine, and here the sh keys get generated generally on your user directory. Okay, so if I show you right now, I am on the C users directory. Okay, like here this is what my home directory. Okay, under this users you can see Amol directory is there, and under which I will have a .sh directory, and there I'm going to generate a key pair. So let's go and do and let's go and generate the keys now. So sh-keychain is the command with which we are going to generate a key. So just press enter, and here if you read that it is going to generate a key pair with this particular key name. It's telling me that under this particular Amol directory, under the .sh folder, I will have the key that is the with this name. Okay, now this is the by default key name that we use it. Okay, now it might be the case that you already have some GitHub credential setup that is done with the PC, and that's the reason it's not good idea to use your default key name. So you can generate a key name with different name also. Okay, so let's say you don't want to use this particular name, you can give it by yourself. So let me copy this particular path, and here I'm going to paste this part, and at last, okay, I just don't want that particular key name. So let's say here I'll give the name as Codecommit demo. Okay, now this is the name I'm giving. Now what name you would like to give, that's up to you. So it's completely your choice what name you would like to give. So here I'll just press enter, and if you wish to put the passphrase you can put it. I'm just pressing enter as empty, and here we go. So we have created the key pair. Okay, and then it at which location, so you can just note down the location. It is under your users home directory, you have .sh folder, and under that here is the your private key, you have it. Okay, so right now if I just check the path, okay, I'm already at the C users Amol path. Okay, and this is the place where I can just go inside the .sh folder here, and if I do ls, you can see that we have created this particular key. Now this is the private key I have, and this is the public key I have. So I can just take both of this key to do the code commit repository setup, and then I have to provide this public key with my AWS service account. Okay, so that's what the next thing here will do. I'll just show that key, how the key look like. Okay, so this is the public key I have, and this is the particular public key with which I'm going to do the code commit setup. Okay, so fine. Now the next thing, let's read what next step we have here in the prerequisite. So we have generated the keys. Now what the next thing here we have to do is we have to upload your sh public key to your IAM user. Okay, so right now you have created this particular user, that's a Amol user, and you have to upload a public key to that particular user. So what I will do is I'll just search for the IAM user here. I'm going to open that user in the new tab, and here we have that user, so just click on that. Okay, so after clicking on that user, under the security credentials, okay, you can just click on this security credentials, and under that we have an option that is the sh public keys for AWS code commit. Now this is a place where we have to paste this particular key. Okay, so I'll just copy that key here, and here I will paste that particular key. So here I have pasted that key, and I will say upload sh public key. Now just note down here, this is the access ID you have got it. Okay, like this is the sh key id, you have got it. Now just note down this particular key id, because this is something you have to mention ahead in the config file. Okay, fine. Now the next step, we'll just read out the next step, what the next step we have here. So after uploading your sh key, okay, the next thing is to edit the local sh configuration file. Okay, local means what? Here I am on my local PC, okay, and here I have to do some modification. Okay, so under this particular .sh folder, I have to mention one config file. Okay, and here the file format they have already given to you. Okay, so this is the file format we have, and just read out the name here. Okay, so what this configuration file is saying, that when we are doing pull and push operation with the git URL, and then with that git URL consists of code commit name, means what, like when we are dealing with the code commit service push pull operation, in that case just look for this particular private key, the one which we have generated just now with the sh-keygen command. Okay, and your IAM/SHKID is going to be this one. Okay, so let's copy that whole thing here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this thing, and your file name, okay, your file name is going to be the config. Okay, your file name is going to be the config. So under your .sh directory, you have to copy this particular file. So I'll just go here and I'm gonna say nano config and just open that one. So just paste your file name like this way. Whatever your private key name is, just put that one here, and whatever is your IAM ID, okay, the SH ID, just put that. Okay, so I'm gonna say user will copy the SH ID from this place. Okay, so just copy it, and the next thing here, I had to provide your private key file. Okay, so from where I can get that one? So probably I'll just open one more git bash. So just to confirm what is the exactly the key name with which we have generated. Okay, so it's something the code commit. So let's confirm that one. So it is the code commit demo. Okay, code commit demo is the correct file name we have. So here I need to provide a private key name. So let's provide that one. All right, now next thing here, we are done with the providing the key pair. Okay, so here we are done with the providing the key pair, sorry, the sh key name, and now it's time to save this particular file. So you can just say Control O, press enter, and Control X to get out of this file. And here we have successfully written that particular file, the one which we are here we are mentioning about the config part. And once we are done with this, okay, once we are done with this, so here we are in good phase to just clone your repository. Okay, now you can just choose any of the place within your PC where you would like to clone your this particular repository. Okay, so I can just copy this particular URL by this way, and now you can just choose any of the folder. Okay, so I can just say here cd dot to just get out of this .sh directory, and I can go to the desktop, and on desktop here just assume that we wish to create any of the folders. So just say here mkdir new demo code commit. So this is the folder I am just creating, in which I'm going to clone that particular new URL. Okay, so just say mkdir new demo. Okay, and here inside this folder I will go, and here I'm gonna say that I'll just paste that URL, the one which we have it here. Okay, so it's going to be the git clone URL. Okay, so just copy that URL and simply paste it, and here we go. Okay, so you see here we didn't got any error or anything like that. We got something that cloning into the demo code commit repository, and if I do ls here, you can see we have successfully copied or cloned the remote code commit repository on your machine. Okay, you can just go inside to it, and here you see right now you don't have anything here. Okay, or in fact if you check the branch, it's a master branch. Now whatever you just usually do it. Okay, all the operations you can just perform. Just assume that, let's suppose here is a developer is writing something and he creates any of the file. or let's create one file with the nano editor. Let's say this is the test1.txt file he's creating. Okay, and here I'm writing like this is the demo of the code commit. Okay, so we have written some text. Now it's time to save this file, so just say Ctrl O, press enter, Ctrl X to get out of it. And if I check the git status now, you can see here I'm getting this is like an untracked file, so it's time to put this file into the staging. So you can say git add test1, and again here you will say git commit to commit your this new code. So just say git commit -m. I'm just giving the message as first commit on code commit. Okay, just press enter, and here we have committed the code. Okay, but this code is available on your local machine. Now it's time to push this particular code to the master. So just say git push origin master to push your this committed code to the remote place, that is the code commit repository. So just press enter, and here you have pushed your code to this from master, local master, to the remote master branch. You have successfully pushed the code. So let's confirm, do we really have pushed the code? So let's confirm that one. So I'll go here and I'm gonna refresh this particular repository. Let's see, and here we go. Okay, can you guys see here that we have pushed the test1.txt file successfully here, and this is how your code commit interface is going to look. Okay, now here you have a branches name. Okay, right now you just have one branch, so you can also create the branches by putting the command. Okay, you can have multiple branches. Okay, you can create a pull request. By this way you can clone the URL, and this is the place where you can also get your steps, the one which are looking into the document. Now here you can do all the pull and push operation the way we do it on the GitHub. Okay, so you can say this is like a competitor for your the GitHub. Okay, probably the most of the people might already be familiar with the GitHub. So this is like a competitor for GitHub, and both of this tool we use it for storing the code. Now what is the benefit we get in the case of the code commit? So code commit tool, it is the AWS native tool, so we can use the code commit to integrate very easily with the other services such as the code build tool and Codepipeline. So such with these tools we can integrate that one with very ease. Okay, so these are the tools we are going to see in the upcoming session. That's the next session we are going to discuss about the code build. So stay tuned for that one. See you there in the next video. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.